Hi, my name is Doug. I'm the president of Guardians of the Purple Heart, and we are a 501c3 approved nonprofit organization based here in southeastern Connecticut that specializes in obtaining items or services for Connecticut combat wounded veterans that aren't being met by other organizations like the VA. So what we like to think is where the VA or these other establishments have to leave off because of their corporate red tape and limitations, we can come in behind them and fulfill these needs by reaching out to the community, working with our vast network of supporters, and just coming together as a whole and supporting these Purple Heart recipients and improving their overall quality of life. A lot of people ask us, how do they get involved and how do they join in on the fun with us? A lot of things you could do. Follow us on Facebook, #1, Instagram, Twitter. Go to our website at gotph.org. You can send donations, send us a message. Spread the word of what we're doing. All the Connecticut Purple Heart recipients, we are out there trying to make a difference in their lives. So please give us a hand and join in on the fun.
Hey, this is Texas singer-songwriter Sergeant Scotty Frazier, proud to have served in the United States Marine Corps and now proud to serve with music. I am honored to be interviewed by and partner with Fubar Studio, the best in military and veteran supporting podcasts. Check them out, and thank you for your service for our American heroes. Also check out scottyfrazier.com for more of my music, and check us out on Spotify, Amazon, and where all good things are streaming. Semper Fi, rock and roll.
Bring your appetite down to Big Belly Cafe, 140 Gore Street, Webster, Mass. for curbside, takeout, and indoor seating. Visit bigbellycafe.com to view their hours, menu, and order online. For reservations, please call ahead at 508-949-2433. Follow Big Belly Cafe on Facebook for weekly and daily specials. And remember, all veterans receive a discount for their recognition of service. Big Belly Cafe. Reedy's Archery, located in Middleborough, Mass. at 121 Wood Street, has been a staple in the area since 1993 and has become the one-stop pro shop for competitive target archers and bow hunters from New England. Reedy's is open Monday through Thursday, 12 p.m. to 8 p.m., Saturdays, 10 p.m. to 4 p.m. Make sure to visit reedysarchery.com and follow them on Facebook to keep up with upcoming events. Reedy's Archery, dedicated to the archer. Wolf Aviation Network is the only flight school in the area utilizing the Airwolf Simulator AATD and the specialized Part 61 training program designed to save students money while increasing safety and efficiency. Creating safe pilots is our first priority. Our flight sim is the perfect training device. It is designed to prepare students adequately before taking flight in our aircraft. Fly with us and save money. Wolf Aviation. Reserve your spot at 413-563-1929 and visit wolfaviationnetwork.com.
This is what we train for, every day.
We just received new intel that there's an enemy presence at the airstrip compound.
All those years. When you're the first to arrive, it's not enough to be ready. You have to be relentless. It's our job to control the ground and the sky, wherever they may meet, even behind enemy lines. They call us one-man air traffic control towers, but we're more than that.
Ivy Lima Charlie, break. Airfield is stable. You are clear to land.
We turn hell into an airstrip. And clear the way for others to follow.
That would be cool.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Welcome everybody. Welcome to another episode of Fubar Studios. I'm your host, Doug, and today we've got a special guest with us. As you see him right here, this is Connor Matthews, aka the Controller. We want to start out by definitely saying thank you for coming on with us today, as well as not a problem.
My pleasure, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. It's an honor, and everything. And we're going to get into asking you some questions here. But I want to give a big shout out to all of our sponsors, all of our viewers, and stuff like that. You know, our last guest was Chris Turner with Label 22. Absolutely amazing guest. But I want to give another shout out to the sponsors and stuff like that, which is without them we wouldn't be able to do what we do here at Fubar Studios Veteran Reinforcement or Track Day for Veterans. We've got the Veteran Development Corporation down in Weymouth, Massachusetts. We have Reed's Archery down in Middleborough, Massachusetts. Check these guys out. Anything you need for bow-wise, check them out. We've got Big Belly Cafe that's located in Webster, Massachusetts. If you're looking for the best food that you're for breakfast wise, go down and see them. They got it's called the Kitchen Sink. It's everything in this thing, and it's absolutely amazing. It's all protein. With just a side of some carbs, which is the potatoes. But absolutely delicious food. Check them out. Tell Wendy and Julie I sent you. They'll get you hooked up if you're a military veteran or first responder, fire or police or paramedic. Let them know that. They will also take off a 10% discount. They definitely like to show their support for the cause for all of us. And so check them out. We also got Standard Automotive, which is in Worcester, Massachusetts. We've got Harbor Freight, thank you for their donations and their sponsorship to us, as well as Cornerstone Bank, who has been definitely a generous donation to us. This just came in, just so everybody knows. This is one of the things that just came in, and this is from Heritage Distillery. I haven't even unwrapped it yet. It's going to probably be really bright right now. But they donated 3 bottles of their finest whiskey. It's absolutely amazing. I've already kind of little sip, from another order. But you're looking for it. We're going to be donating. We're going to be raffling these off one at a time. So just please definitely check it out. It's going to go to a great cause for the Track Day for Veterans. But I got to give them a big shout out and tell them thank you for their support and generous donation. This is just the beginning with them. We've also got Larry's Landscape Supply. This is like a long intro, everybody. Larry's Landscape Supply. I got to give all these guys, big shout out. You got DDR Motorsports. We have Doug Vinn, who does Nat Racing. We have David Cohen. Another sponsor who does racing. So all these supporters and donors, I appreciate it. Thank you, and we're gonna get on with the show now, Connor. So give us a little background. I know because I know you were in the military. You're a veteran, and now you're doing UFC, MMA fighting and stuff. Just give us a background, and then we'll get into some more questions.
So yeah, I grew up here in Massachusetts. So I grew up South Coast, Mass. Actually, I played every kind of sport you can imagine growing up. Hockey was my number one sport, and I was going to go to play college hockey. But my senior year, I got hurt, and after I got hurt, I kind of lost all my hopes and dreams of going to play college hockey. So I was kind of just started training to kind of deal with my mental issues of like not, basically put my energy somewhere else. Yeah. And I put my into the martial arts gym, and I ended up taking some fights, and I got hooked to the sport. I fought for a couple of years around here after I graduated high school, until my family kind of got on me like, hey, you need to figure out what you're going to do with your life. And so I joined the military. So I was already in really good shape for martial arts and fighting and whatnot. So I kind of just applied that to, becoming a special operations, becoming a combat controller. And, it was a 2.5 year pipeline for that. So, I had a couple setbacks in there, but, I finally made it through. And then from there, I got stationed out in Washington State. I had a deployment to Afghanistan as a combat controller. After I got home from my deployment from Afghanistan, once again, I was kind of, struggling mentally. So I started using martial arts to kind of cope with it. And by this time, I got pretty good and decided to make a run at this UFC. So it took me like 4 years. I got out of the military in 2019, and I got signed to the UFC in 2022, I believe, or 23, maybe it's 2023. I got signed in 2023, and so it took me a couple of years to make it there. But here we are. I made it. So just really loving life right now. Literally living my dream. Training up here still. I got right now in my gym down at, we call it Mom's basement. I got an octagon in my basement, right? Like a full-on MMA gym, and I trained with the New Cartel. So it's a really good fight team out of Mass. So, just doing everything I love, and just happy to do what I'm doing.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and that's what it's about, is doing what makes you happy. On top of helping what helps you cope with your struggles and stuff like that. Getting into this, what in your early years, as being a kid and stuff, did you imagine yourself getting into boxing or fighting or MMA stuff? Were you like kind of into those things as a kid?
I don't know. I think so. I think I was always really into even as Power Rangers and Ninja Turtles when I was a kid. So I liked karate. I did. I've done karate since I was a young kid, like 5 years old. So I've always done the traditional martial arts. So I think fighting, getting into the octagon has kind of been a natural progression of that. You know what I mean? I wasn't, not that I necessarily it's just competition to me. I've been competitive sparring since I was a kid, and that's just like the progression of the sport. So, I did not. But UFC wasn't a thing. You know what I mean? So I didn't foresee myself becoming a boxer or a fighter until I took my first MMA fight, and then I kind of got hooked to the sport. And then I started reaching out. I was like, oh, I noticed I had some flaws. I kind of had my first MMA fight was a little bit of jiu-jitsu and like karate. That was it. I didn't have boxing. I didn't have Muay Thai. I didn't have, I didn't have wrestling. There's a lot of holes in my game. So after I had my first MMA fight, I started, reaching out to, taking boxing fights, taking Muay Thai fights, and just kind of getting into those sports as well. So, it was an interesting progression. It wasn't something it wasn't too linear, big, this, you know what I mean? It was just like, kind of just happened naturally.
Yeah. Now, as you mentioned, I mean, because these are big cartoons shows back in the day when we were kids, Ninja Turtles and the Power Rangers. I've got to say, the Power Rangers, I mean, I remember growing up and seeing the Power Rangers, and I'm always like, I was always fascinated because they would like go, and then they would like do their fighting and get into, go into a robot, whatnot. But out of all of them, who was your favorite Power Ranger? I got to say, because mine was the green. I believe it was the green one that came out like the special one that came out first, because you had the blue, red, white, or no, blue, red, white, or something
the
like that,
black,
pink.
black and the green. The black and the white one came later on, but then they had the green as well. I always like green's my favorite color, so I used to like the green.
Yeah.
But the red, like the captain of the team, so
yeah,
I liked him.
Yeah. No, and I remember, I mean, even growing up, I used to watch wrestling and stuff like that, and I would always see, like, Hacksaw Jim Duggan and, Ric Flair and stuff like that. That's always made me fascinated with getting into and watching wrestling and then watching UFC fighting now. Was one of my things, but that was like a kind of a turning point as a kid. I was always watching that and kind of thinking that was kind of cool. But I never got into the fighting. Not until I got. No, go ahead.
I kind of got lucky, like, you know what I mean. The martial arts school that I was training at when I was a kid started doing MMA, so it wasn't like, you know what I mean. So it was kind of like a natural like transition. And I got into the sport really young. I was going to Lakeville MMA, which was actually a Taekwondo school, and we just started doing MMA. Yeah. And so I kind of got introduced into the sport really young, so I kind of got lucky about that.
Yeah, we did. I know when I was a kid, we did some karate. Is what my grandparents got me into, but I didn't really fall in love with it. I think I started falling more into it was when I joined the service. And I did the regular combatives, and then I went into the next step, and then to, I think it was level 3 combatives, and I'm like, yeah, I'm all set. I kind of not gonna pass this stuff, but because it's intense. To say the least, it's very intense. But did
we didn't have too much combatives in the Air Force, to be honest. Because since I was in the Air Force, anything we did, I was kind of teaching my team a little bit. They'd have me run classes here and there, but yeah, we didn't really get too much combatives. Any training I did in the military, I kind of did outside of the military. I'd go to like a local gym and just hop in classes. But for that 6 years while I was, active duty, I didn't train nearly as much. So, I'd hop in the gym here and there, or I'd wrestle with a friend. But now I didn't really get to train like that's why another reason why I was, kind of surprised myself. I didn't get back into fighting like with the intentions to make it to the UFC right away. I kind of got back into fighting just to kind of train, and then I realized that I was like, oh man, actually maybe I could still make a run at this, and it kind of worked out.
What kind of if I could ask, I mean, was there any hurdles? Because I know as you were talking, you said there was so many things that were like a hole into finding out what you needed to get more into after your first fight. But what was probably the biggest hurdle that you've had to, or challenge that you had to make to overcome, or even had to get over?
I would say, I've had a lot of up and downs, but just my fighting career, I would say, but so I would say wrestling. Yeah, my first time I got to the content, so I got out of the Air Force and moved home. I had 4 or 5, I think it was like five fights before I got onto the Contender Series for Dana White's Contender Series. Yeah. So on the fights, I beat the guys pretty quickly. I get fast finishes that that didn't really last around with me. And then so I got to the Contender Series, and I had a fight against Francis Marshall, and I kind of got exposed there. He was a really good wrestler, and I realized I needed some like more wrestling in my life. I was good at jiu-jitsu my whole life, growing up here in like Lausanne's MMA, and they have good jiu-jitsu programs there. So that's what I realized. I had a big hole in my game. So that's when I really changed. The way I was fighting. I ended training with the New England Cartel, and we worked on that MMA game. Honestly, so like I was kind of the opposite. I kind of had skills in everywhere. Like I had a Muay Thai coach, I had a boxing coach, I had a jiu-jitsu coach. I just didn't have an MMA coach that really taught me how to put everything together really well. And Tyson Chartier, he's really good about teaching me. And I was training with guys like Rob Fong, Calvin Cater, and all the other guys in the New England Cartel, and they kind of taught me how to like really put the games, take all those skills, put them together, and fight MMA. So that was the biggest. That really as a professional is joining all those skill sets together and fighting him. MMA is like a little bit different. Like, you don't want to attack the jiu-jitsu chokes because you can get put on your back and they get on top of you and they start slamming, throwing down punches. MMA, it's more about staying on top. It's a different kind of grappling, and it's a different kind of strike. You know what I mean? There's just the rule sets change the way you fight.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. So it's like if Floyd Mayweather got in the ring with like a kickboxer, he's gonna get torn up. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean like it's just the rule sets change everything. So. So that was my biggest over thing is really just kind of putting everything together, which I did, you know what I mean? And I came back the next year, I fought in the Contender Series, and I fought against a 10-0 Brazilian guy, Jairus Ferreiras, and I beat him. So it really changed my whole way of fighting in 1 year, and came back. So
yeah, because as I was looking, I know your the profile with your what the UFC has it as like one knockout, 5 wins for it was 1 knockout win, 5 submission wins, and then 6 first round finishes.
I have a striker. I have some power in my hands. So growing up, I had a boxing coach, this guy Mike Avila. I worked with him my whole life, and we throw a lot of power in our hands. So it definitely, until you get to the higher levels, I was touching guys, putting guys to sleep. But when you get up to the top level guys, it's harder to put those guys down for sure. So but it's always back to the drawing board, get to training, and I know I'm coming off a loss right now after my first UFC fight. I had a good fight. I got caught in the 3rd round against Dennis Bajuka. He's a good fighter. I went trained down with him recently down in Long Island. He trains at Longo Weidman Gym with Aljamain Sterling was there. So, I don't know if you know him, but with those guys, it's pretty cool. So
because I'm actually going down to Long Island here shortly.
Really?
In a couple days. So I was like, there was a few people that I kind of was like, I messaged them. I was like, hey, just reach out. I would love to talk to you on this because it's like I see some of these guys on fighting, and I'm like, I always try to find out where some of them are designated at, and if I know I'm traveling that way to go for one of the events for Track Day for veterans, I try to reach out to try to see if I can do an interview with them and talk to them and talk to their background with stuff, because that's where I'm kind of expanding into, not just, I'm doing the, veterans and stuff like that for a lot of stuff, but the podcast, I'm trying to add in, some civilians, and things that they do. But yeah, I was watching some of the fights, and again, I only found out about you probably a couple months ago when I started to do more research on some other stuff, just like musicians and stuff like that.
Sorry, she set the lights off on me in the basement.
Nice.
It's Mom's basement. That's what we call our gym, Mom's basement.
Because Mom's basement.
It's Mom's basement. We got a full UFC cage in Mom's basement. But anyway, sorry about that.
But no, you're good. So it's I've going down there. Hopefully, I get a response. But it's a hit or miss. Because again, some of you guys, just like yourself, you guys are busy. If you're not training, you're resting from probably something that you've been training for the last weeks on end. Now it's downtime for you. Everybody has to have their own downtime. And it's all when you can catch people.
Exactly.
It goes with musicians, goes with comedians, actors. Some people, they just want to have their own life, and be a normal person. So,
100%. At that. No, I mean, I've been taking a little time right now. But when I'm taking time, TJ, I've just shift my focus from fighting to something else. Like I have a job. I work for the Air Force right now, and I call them a developer. So I got to my job was to help guys who are coming into special operations to kind of like develop them to get them ready to go, so they have when they get down to the training to the pipeline, they have a better chance of making it through. So I got to get started trainer for that. So I've been focusing on getting that done right now. So it's always something to get done here if I'm not fighting. So right now, and also I got a little bit of a knee injury I'm kind of working through. So trying to get myself healthy and hopefully get geared, get ready, get back in the cage here. Hopefully get another fight off by the end of the year. My knee's feeling better. It's starting to feel better. So that's the way it goes. But yeah, I'm always busy. I don't get too much time.
No, and that's where it's it's where we try to we do what we can, and we want to talk to you guys and be able to talk to you and just see what's going on with everything and see what's happening next, because I know, as we were talking before, and as you just mentioned now, you're hoping to get another fight by the end of the year, but that's again up to you healing and everything, but
exactly.
Again, it's we want to be able to get that information out, but it's be able to talk to you and be able to see how things have rolled for you. As your time of getting out of the service, I want to kind of turn the table a little bit. As you were getting out of the service of active duty and all that, what was your transitioning back into civilian life? Because as going into the service, it takes months and months to be, to get accurate, to be able to understand and be able to do the things you're doing in the military. So what's your partake on that? What's your look at that?
I mean, for me, it was definitely like a risk for sure getting out and, chasing this UFC thing. I mean, it was hard. It was kind of scary and hard. You know what I mean? You kind of get used to it. It's like the military is like a gang. It's easy, you know what I mean? You're in, it's hard to get out, and never mind like the steady paycheck you get from, every 2 weeks, you're getting a paycheck, and you get health insurance, and you get everything. You just got to worry about basically just doing your job in the military. Listen and just do your job. So yeah, getting out was kind of scary, especially with the fighting thing. It was definitely a grind with making money to be able to train. And then also, just be able to be able to live. But, I got really lucky. My parents kind of supported me. They let me live in their house. Like you said, I got this basement gym set up in their basement right now. And they supported me until I made it to the UFC. And, it's just been, I wouldn't be able to do it without them, to be honest. I had the pandemic thrown in there too. So that was kind of, that screwed up everything. And just, just basically the world get going. Everything stopped when it was like 2020, right? So I got out 2019. Pandemic hit 2020. Stopped the whole fighting thing. Couldn't even get fights. Like, I fought one time during the pandemic in like a tent in a parking lot. So that wasn't good. So it took me a little while to get everything going, but I eventually figured everything out. Now I got a job. Now I got my fighting career starting taking off, and everything kind of worked out the way we wanted to, but it wasn't just a straight shoot, just, to the UFC, and, everything was great. I had that first loss against Francis in the series. That was a big setback for me. So, I've had a lot of setbacks within the military and out. It's kind of, that's kind of shaped me who I am. I'm kind of used to that. I think that's just, you always, learn and grow from those things, those challenging things. When in the moment they seem like the end of the world, but usually, if you just get back to the drawing board, keep doing what you're doing, they pan out.
Yeah. Now, as you're getting out of the service, I know as you mentioned, it's like, you get those steady paychecks, the first 15th, you're getting your check, you have health benefits and stuff like that. I know a lot of guys, they struggle because they realize it's like you go from being in in like a brother and sisterlyhood family of being in the service and being in the military to now being considered a civilian, and it's like it's kind of like sometimes to people's brains, it's like it kind of messes with them because it's like what can I really do? What am I able to do? did the military provide you with any kind of, guidance or anything on, as you're getting out? Any help with, saying, hey, here's this, here's that, apply for these benefits with the VA or anything like that?
Not really. Initially, I really didn't get any benefits from the VA. I had kind of got with some other guys who got out of my job, and they kind of helped me out with trying to get some disability, because I did get tore my knee going through the military. I got frostbite. I got a couple of things. I got messed up. Had a lot of jumps and stuff. So I was able to get some disability. I think that was the biggest help, but I didn't get that for 2.5 years after I got out. Honestly, it wasn't too much to help me out on the transition. I did have the VA said I needed knee surgery at one point in time, so that was nice. They actually got me the surgeries, but other than that, not too much, honestly. You know what I mean? You're kind of on your own. I mean, but that's life. I think everybody's on their own. You got to work hard and wake up every single day and just take responsibility for yourself to get stuff done. And I think the military, that before, doing special operations and stuff, it's kind of you got to handle your shit every day, and that's what it is. So, that's what. There's definitely things I think they could do better for us. You know what I mean? Transitioning out, it should be easier to enroll into the VA. I think it should be easier to get your disability, and it should be, you know what I mean? But that's the way it is. You got to go back and keep hunting down and keep submitting those paperwork and keep doing the things you got to do. Yeah. That's just the way it goes.
No, absolutely. And I mean, yeah, it's it should be an easier way for military veterans as they're getting out from active duty or whatnot to going into civilian, saying, hey, we're going to already have your paperwork, have you already submit your paperwork into it so it's all ready. But again, as you even said, and this is something that, as I would say to lower enlisted, I would, say, this is me stomping my foot. It's time for you to listen up. It's going to behoove of you to make sure you have all the proper documents, all the proper everything that you need, as so when you're getting out, this is the information. But I didn't take my own advice. I kept the documents, I kept everything, but I never followed up and never filed anything until I think 4 years later. And it was I'm missing out. But that's because of my own issues. But I know I advocate now to even people, to veterans. I'm listen, just file everything, get everything going, be able to do what you need to do, so you can get everything taken care of. And you being, who you are and stuff like that. It's you got to take care of your own shit. You got to do your own, you got to follow up, because you're absolutely 100% correct. You have to do your own follow up. You got to do all the paperwork. You got to know these things, because it should not rely on anybody else. Because as the military teaches you, take care of yourself and your soldiers, and that's it. It's taught to you day one. But other than that, I mean, really, with your time from being in the service, because you said what you've been in since what year?
I was in from 2013 to 2019.
Okay, so 2013 to 2019, your time in, you've probably seen your own, your fair share of stuff, and as you said, your deployment to Afghanistan, and stuff like that. So, it's nice to know that people have be able to see it, and as being fortunate. And you were fortunate probably to also see other countries just other than just Afghanistan. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, I got a little bit out to Southeast Asia, so that was pretty cool. I got out to London when I was I did actually a boxing match out in London. So yeah, I got around before the military's out. I got to go to Africa, so seen a little bit of the world. So that's pretty cool. But the military is really cool to be able to travel, and I was all over the United States, especially for training trips, all over the spot. So all over the place. Yeah, it was good stuff for sure.
Yeah, no, I've been out to London, Scotland, and stuff like that on top of everything else. But it's nice when you're in the military because, again, you do get to see a lot of stuff that you don't normally see. And then you get to meet everybody, you know, from different places, walks of life. And it's like, it's kind of neat. I mean, even when you go through basic or boot camp and stuff, you get to meet, you know, all these other new recruits that are coming in. It's like, wow, you're from the Bronx, New York, or you're from Oklahoma. What's in Oklahoma, or what's in South Dakota? You know, it's nice. But you know, where do you see yourself? You know, going from where you're at now. Where do you, you know, where do you see yourself going to, like, here in the near future?
I mean, I'm gonna ride this UFC thing as long as I can make it. You know what I mean? I keep taking fights until you know, see how that goes. Then after I get done fighting, I plan on opening up my own gym. I'm running classes and have my own little spot going right now. But I want to, you know, really invest into that. Spend all this time I spend traveling around right now to other gyms and training. I'm probably just gonna kind of set my own spot, and that's my goal. Probably down here in South Coast, Massachusetts. So that's my. It's always been my dream, my goal, and that's what I plan on doing.
Any time to where you're thinking maybe? Cause I don't know. Are you married or you know,
not married?
Not married, fiance, anything like that, girlfriend?
Nothing right now. Single.
Staying single until whatever.
Focus on the fighting. You know what I mean? Focus on that stuff, and everything else will kind of come. Hopefully, you know, from that. But no, I'm still living in my mom's basement, so.
You're just not the one that's the keyboard warrior sitting in the mom's basement, you know.
Yeah.
No, it's. I mean, it's how everybody wants to do it, and that's where it's like, you know, I ask people is like, if you're, you know, if you're single or whatnot, you know, do you see yourself getting, you know, married at any point, or do you just feel like you want to just focus on, you know, the UFC fighting or whatever it is, and it seems like you want to focus on that before, you know, anything else, because I get it. I get it. It's you want to be able to focus on that, so then when it's time for you that you want to focus on, you know, finding that person, you can give it the full attention, not just a quarter of your attention or whatnot, you know. And that's for everybody. It's up to anybody, but it's nice to definitely get you on here and talk about it. You know, do you see yourself staying with the UFC, or you know, going into anything else? You know,
I'm still connected. I still have my job for the Air Force, and I really like that job because it kind of keeps me connected to the community as a contractor, civilian contractor. You know what I mean? So I'm probably going to keep doing that, and then yeah, I mean, probably hopefully be kind of with it. I got fighters that are coming up underneath me right now, and I always hopefully I can, you know, coach them and get these guys to the UFC just like I did. So that's going to be my future is, you know, coaching and training with these guys.
Yeah.
Get them ready for the games.
Now, does when it comes to fights and stuff like that, does Dana White reach out to you and say, "Hey, we got this person that wants to fight you," or is it something that is set up through management or whatnot?
So you have management that kind of deals with that stuff, but it is, you know, Dana White or Sean Shelby or that's the matchmakers for the UFC. They usually will call my manager and just kind of let me know. I don't really have too much to say. I just kind of listen. They give me a name and I just go, okay, boom, gonna get ready for that guy. You know what I mean? So I mean, after a couple fights, if I start winning, maybe I'll call some guys out. But for right now, I'm just kind of, you know, secure this contract and, you know, get to the contract for the UFC.
Yeah. Oh, nice. I mean, it's good. It's good to know, and you know, we wish you well with all that, and hope you the best for that. You know, and hope you the best with your contract that you're doing with the other controllers on getting them to where they need to go as well.
Thank you.
You know, you're very welcome, and it's definitely been a pleasure. And again, I didn't want to take too much time of your time because I know, again, you got so much more other stuff to do as well. So we do appreciate you coming on this evening and talking, and we definitely look forward to maybe even reaching out again later on, as the year goes on.
Let's do it.
Absolutely. So I'll have Beavis and Butthead just take it over from here and tell us what they think about the show, and we'll see you guys later.
Shut up! Shut up!
Yeah. Shut up!
You suck!
Stop, in the name of all that which does not suck.
Thanks for watching Fubar Studios Veteran Reinforcement. Please make sure to check out the Fubar Studios on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and visit the website at fubarstudio.com. Fubar Studios is a Sinista1 Production.